Yo, what's up, everybody? How's it going? So, just wanted to do a little live stream before I take a break from the internet for a few days. That's right, there will be no TU Hub events this week because it is a holiday week. And honestly, like most holidays, I do not take off. Most holidays, I do not even notice. But if the holiday is the kind of holiday that actually gets my family or enough of my family to take it seriously, then I do something with it. And so what I wanted to do really quick here is, basically read you all out this email that I have up on the screen. What's up, Benzer? I see you in the chat. Said more elevators should have this kind of music. The breakdown. Open up the pit in the elevator. Yeah, that would be awesome. Would give an epic vibe to everyday life, like you're waiting for the next try on the final boss of a video game once the doors open. Honestly, I think you could look at a lot of like gangster rap as well as hardcore, like metalcore, as a kind of way of making boring life dramatic and interesting, right? Like, oh, you're walking through the store, nothing's more boring than that. But in reality, like, you've got like your earbud in and you're like, and you're like, yeah, this is like a great day, you know? I think of music like mood modulation in a sort of sense. And so, it's like boring, angsty, stupid life. We make it interesting with music. So I don't know. Maybe that's fair. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But what am I going to talk about? Oh yeah, I'm going to read this. Let's get into it. Dear friends, and this hasn't been sent out yet, by the way. This is like hot off the press. About to send it out, actually. But I want to include this video when I do send it out, so people can just listen to it instead of reading it if they prefer. So it goes, dear friends, fellow travelers, and new signups at Theory Underground. Oh, shit. I should actually probably write some kind of a preamble. I'm just going to write preamble, including link to video. I'll do that after the stream. So the main thing that I wrote is this piece on holidays. Critical thinkers and theorists that you all are, it's likely many of you scoff at holidays. Oh, Thanksgiving? Don't you mean Native Genocide Day? Or, oh wow, an excuse to be even more of a gluttonous American than usual? Amazing. Then, of course, there are those of you who think having a good time with your family while bad stuff is happening in the world makes you a fascist or whatever. Please remove yourself from this list by replying, remove. Joking aside, I get it. I used to say things like, why do we limit our gratitude or gift giving to isolated and arbitrary days in the year? In the last few years, I've become much more of a realist on matters such as tradition or ritual. I think something that I kind of skipped there that's probably worth saying, but I'm probably not going to write it out in the email version, is just that, like that, when I used to say that, like, oh, why do we restrict these things to arbitrary days in the year? That's kind of stupid. Like, the answer is like, well, we can only get together so many times in a year, right? Like, it's really hard to get everybody in one place at once. I think the people who don't organize don't have like a proper appreciation for how difficult it actually is to get a bunch of people in a space all at the same time, right? Because everyone has jobs. Now, you could say, well, I want to live in a society that doesn't have jobs. Oh, fucking great. Duh. But in the meantime, since we do, how do we actually get together? It's a lot easier to get together virtually. And even then it can be difficult. People still have to get their time off. And so it's a lot more like, oh, if it works for you, then great, we can do it. But that means that it's kind of just like spontaneously whoever's around is able to jump in. But the people who are busiest, the people who have the most responsibilities, the people whose time is most precious, they're usually absent. And the people who are present are usually more bored, or they just were on an off day, just happened to be available. But like the nice thing about a ritual is like it actually makes it so like, yeah, we could, give and do these gratuitous displays of gratitude throughout the year. But do we? Don't we kind of forget to most of the time because we get caught up in life? And so it's like a nice opportunity to sort of like, oh yeah, let's do that, right? It's kind of the thought. Because at the end of the day, I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to reach out to every person on their birthday. It's like, I'll just reach out to them and let them know I love them like whenever I do. And it's like, okay, but it's easy to go a year without doing that, isn't it? So it's kind of nice to have that reminder. And then once I started to embrace holidays, I realized, oh, I can use my own birthday as a sort of like legitimation narrative for like actually getting everyone to show up all in the same spot, all on a same time. Like that's cool. And so things have gone better since I realized that. Like people are so afraid of like appearing egoistic or like, oh, it's all about me or whatever, that they actually like won't organize their birthday parties or like invite people. And it's like, okay, but then you're going to sit at home and be like, oh, no one's calling me. Just fucking have a party, man. Or just invite some people over, That's my newer attitude, okay? Anyway, so I go on. Charlie Brown's Coca-Cola sponsored Christmas story is basically correct. Yes, the commodification and American greed that goes viral around these holidays sucks. But no, that's not the whole story. At the end of the day, we are entering the time of year when it gets cold and dark. Preoccupied with our jobs, hobbies, or even vocations and passions, it is too easy to forget to reach out to a loved one who might be going through a really rough time. Holidays are reminders. Maybe you don't need a reminder. Maybe you already spend tons of time with all your loved ones, telling them how grateful you are to have them in your life, gifting them something thoughtful, etc. Chances are that's bullshit, though. Chances are you tell yourself it's a stupid holiday because of ressentiment, as in a cheap sense of superiority that is also very convenient to remaining aloof and in your little bubble of comfort. Assuming that you're here on the internet, that little bubble of comfort is something you're probably inhabiting right now. I hope I'm not messing that up. Well, as we got into it in a stream recently, comfort is a prison. Remember, did everybody see that? Here, I'll open it. You see this? Yeah, this was the exegetical of the first couple chapters of Michael Easter's The Comfort Crisis that I did with Anne and Nance. It was a great time. I've gotten some wonderful feedback from people. Several people have gone ahead and actually read the book since I shared it. That makes me happy. If it wasn't for reading that book, I don't know that I would have gone for a run in the rain the other day. But I did. And so here we are. I'm better off for it, I'd like to think. Anyway, so yeah, comfort is a prison. Holidays are an opportunity to put into practice the idea that it ain't always about you. They're an opportunity to show up and be present for others. You don't know what they're going through, and your presence makes a difference. Don't believe me? Watch It's a Wonderful Life. Right? It's a Wonderful Life. Definitive proof of what I'm talking about, because that's a real story. Even if you don't have immediate family to get together with, do a Zoom call with a friend or distant relative, or go volunteer at a food bank or soup kitchen. And honestly, fuck the Zoom call, man. Just have a phone call. Like, honestly, I'm going to actually add in parentheses, better yet, a real phone call. And then I'm going to link right here the McLuhan and what is it? Levinas on the phone? Yeah. Millennials and Loneliness, McLuhan and Levinas on the phone. that amazing piece by Michael Downs at the blog The Dangerous Maybe, where he basically does a critical media theory analysis of why phones are ultimately better for relationships, like phone calls, and really voice messaging itself. Why is voice messaging? Because it doesn't have to be live time. It could be a lot of it like, sending the voice messages, doing it on demand or whatever. But voice, in a sort of way, breaks through the categories and totalizations of mind, and has a way of like conveying what Levinas calls the face of the other. Which, if you want to know more about that, just read that article or stick around. I'll be teaching a totality and infinity course. Emmanuel Levinas is like great magnum opus. I'll be teaching this course come 2024, probably in the summer. It's looking like probably around June, July, something like that. So stay tuned. Whatever. Okay, so what am I talking about? Oh yeah, better yet, a real phone call. So whatever, have some kind of a call with a friend or a distant relative or whatever. Go volunteer at a food bank or soup kitchen. Even if you don't have family or friends like in your immediate vicinity, just get out there, whatever. So I say, I don't care. Just don't play video games and jack off the whole time while telling yourself you're such a critical intellectual that you exist above it all, or you really are letting capital win. Of course, if you're a regular working class person, the chances are you don't even get Thanksgiving off from work, which fucking blows and honestly should be illegal. And in such cases, capital really has won. How crazy is it that we have to work so many of the holidays that only the PMC get to have off? For real. That one, I guess only the PMC gets to have off. Yeah, that drives me crazy. Okay, I'll get off my high horse, though I'm totally sober, I promise, and stop with the preaching. If you want to hear a full presentation I did in defense of the tradition of marriage, which also goes into how I used to be pro-polyamory and full-on anti-monogamy, plus why my position on this changed, then respond to this email saying you would like that link. So yeah, that's a whole thing that I've been doing. It's kind of like reinterrogating some of my older positions. And that old super anti-monogamy position was based in a lot of things: theoretical, emotional, psychological, whatever. And a lot of it's stuff that I had to work through and think through. Yeah, my defense of the tradition itself is not a wholesale defense of how that institution or how that gets institutionalized. But I don't know. I'm not going to tell you all about it right now. All I'll say is that it's here somewhere. Hold on, I have it like up. Yeah, this is it. The Tillamook Mini Conference 2023, thinking about love, family, and relationships. So like, as you can see in this picture, it was out in the woods at nighttime. We had a pretty good crowd of people. And it was awesome. So I did like an opening thing about academic versus public philosophy. Anne Snellgrove McCarricker did something on solitude and solicitude. Elton L.K., who co-instructed the course on the PMC with me, he did something on angles and on the family. Summer did something on love and cryptids. That was a really fun one. Brian did something on obsession and the good life. But yeah, then I do this time, energy, relationships, and traditional monogamy one. And so, yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, this whole conversation, this whole line of thought, then you should get this email if you have registered with Theory Underground, either on the app or the website itself. And if you've done that, then yeah, just click reply and hit me up. And if you get this way after the fact so that you don't actually get this email, don't worry about it. Just sign up with the website, send me a direct message on there. David McCarricker, just look me up. Just ask for the link and I'll share it with you. It's not a public thing because, I don't want to share it to complete strangers. I don't want it being recommended to complete strangers all over the internet. That's not the point. But, I figure if you're kind of like a fellow traveler or whatever, You might enjoy it. All right, before I read the next part, I'm going to check in on the chat here. So Benzer says, works well. My kind of bubble of comfort is the kind that loves meta deconstructions of everything, including itself. There you go. There you go. There's no better form of deconstruction than eating a turkey and then taking a nap, because all of your critical faculties will collapse. They will just fall over dead. That's what it will do. You critical mind, and you will sleep, and you will wake up feeling rested. Anyway, to get to the point, I'm traveling for Thanksgiving week, taking a little holiday and spending time with people who love me for reasons that have nothing to do with Theory Underground. So no TU Hub events this week. They continue next week though. If you're a new sign up with the site or any of its courses, stay tuned for an email with the schedule for next week's office hours and other special events, including the TU Film Club movie night discussion of Electric Dreams, the 1984 rom-com, and Her from 2013. Two movies very different, both about AI. We will discuss these on Tuesday the 28th at 13:30 LA time. That's also 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. You can see the other times on there. Basically 4:30 East Coast time. Right? Soda Cabbage says, hey, is this Soda Cabbage 2 or 1? Is Soda Cabbage 1 also Soda Cabbage 2? I don't know that you've always had a number 2 in your name, but I'm seeing a number 2 now. Soda Cabbage. By the way, hi. It's good to see you. Says, I love these holidays for family, but I always wonder things like, what do they want us to be thankful for? I can be a little critical of that. Yeah, I have a hard time with some of the practices, like, you know, oh, let's go around the table twice and everyone say something that I'm grateful for. You know, it's like, okay, it is kind of cool though, because think about it. Without that, you wouldn't know how meaningful some things really are to some people in your family. Because it's like, you're not going to walk around and interview every person in your family and be like, hey, what are you grateful for? Hey, what are you grateful for? Hey, what are you grateful for? And even if you do, it's different than when it's like, oh, the whole year is kind of built up to this moment for some of them. Because for some of them, it's way more meaningful than it is for us. Like, I think for us, it's kind of just like we go along with it. But what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't just matter because it objectively matters. It matters because it matters to people in our lives. And they matter. And we can't change the whole society. And we can't change their subjectivity. And so ultimately, just showing up and being there for them and kind of playing along with the ritual matters, right? Evans Wells says, oh, you're actually live? I never know if you're in real time or if you're premiering something pre-recorded. I pre-recorded this. This is actually all scripted. I planned this all out ahead of time. This is not live at all. No, yeah, this is live. This is live. So what's up? How's it going? Evan Wells. Yeah, I know it looks the same. It's weird. I thought that YouTube would like tell people if it's premiering. And I thought that there's even like a little red thing that says premiere in the bottom right-hand corner of the thumbnail. But nevertheless, lots of people in the live chat be like thinking that it's a live stream. And often it's like premiering while I'm forgetting that it's premiering. So like I'm working at Amazon, happily listening to some book that has nothing to do with the stream, and then I'm like, or the premiere, and then I'm like, I jump into the premiere like 2 hours late, and I'm like, oh, what's up, everybody? Benzer says, yeah, he's just a mastermind socio-analyst and realized that the reactions of randos on the internet would be, yeah, yeah, I've preempted all of this, yes. Hiya, I'm doing my QA work from home while watching, as usual. Ha, what's QA work? Replying preemptively like Doctor Who on Don't Blink. I've not seen most Doctor Who, so I don't know about that. But yes, I am replying preemptively. All right. whatever. So I hope that you will all be able to make it to the Theory Underground Film Club event for the month of November. There's one of these every month. It's a great time. It's a way that I get to get together with some of my film buff friends and learn how to analyze film in a little bit more of a filmy way, I guess, than how I normally do on my own. All right. Now, gratitude and gift giving. So, I feel grateful for you all. I don't know about you all, like, now that this is live, I mean, there's a bunch of randos in here, but, like, I feel grateful for you all, and I'm speaking to specifically the people on my email list. In less than a year, my email list has grown from 0, I should actually say that, to nearly 500. Yeah. From 0 to nearly 500. Based solely off of you, the people who have registered accounts at Theory Underground. That's a lot of people who took the time to sign up at the actual website and look around. I feel kind of bad that most of the time when they've looked at the website, they probably were like, well, this is dog shit because I'm getting 503 errors, or it's under maintenance, or it's slow and glitchy and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? There are people who signed up, checked it out, and thought, this is fucking awesome. This is like Dave's own platform. This is fucking awesome. To those people, thank you. Thanks to the donations from my 5 patrons, Bert, Marilyn, Nance, Carl, and I went and tried to verify the name of the 5th patron, and I've just left it for now. Don't worry about it. As well as course fee paying students, I have been able to do Theory Underground full time while supporting my now wife. I say now in parentheses because, like, when I was supporting her in Mexico, she was not my wife. She was my fiance. Of course, I had to live in Mexico for 5 months just to pull that off, and it also ate up my remaining savings. But now look at how much that has paid off. I only have to work at Amazon part-time, focusing the rest of my freed up time energy towards TU administrative work, events, courses, publications, research, and writing. It's the good life. I mean, it's in the last couple weeks, every week, I am running, I'm practicing jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, I am weight training, I'm having weekly check-ins with Swoletariat, Nance, Ann, and other people at Theory Underground to have conversations about health and fitness and like trying to get to the bottom of like what really is like the way to maintain your body at the bare minimum. Because I'm an intellectual. I'm not trying to fuck around in the gym all day. I'm not trying to become like Hulk Hogan over here. Like I want to be basically healthy, and I want to be in touch with my body enough so that when I'm 80 or whatever, it's not going to be like I'm like barely hobbling around, you know what I mean? Like I want to be a spry old fuck so that I'm able to keep on writing books and kicking ass, you know? Like everything that I'm doing now is supposed to ultimately pay off then, right? And so that's also why I'm on a weekly basis practicing Spanish, French, and German. Am I fluent? No. Am I proficient? No. Will I be? If I keep it up, yeah. I'm doing the basic minimum via Duolingo, and then I'm diving in the deep end with people who know way more than me and just getting a feel for the languages. And this is all stuff that's open to everybody currently. You're all able to get involved with it at the Theory Underground website or app. And so, and that's not even the theory stuff. Like we just did the intro to Nick Land. That was amazing. I'm getting ready to go back into being in time. This monstrosity right here. Oh yeah. Division 2 begins January 6th, and I couldn't be more excited about that. Stay tuned for some live streams that are going to kind of build hype going towards this. I'm going to share the lectures from Division 1, or at least a lot of the lectures from Division 1 as a way of kind of like building interest and hype around what we're getting into with Division 2. So if you've been thinking about taking on a serious challenge and committing to a book that's going to kick your ass, and probably repeatedly kick your ass throughout the years, then now is probably the best time to sign up for that. Anyway, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about all of the stuff going on. There's so much stuff going on, and the amount of time energy that I have been able to free up is enabling me to develop myself theoretically, to develop Theory Underground, the website and app, to teach these courses, to organize, to develop the European conference conference tour that's coming up, and then also the actual conference in Boise, Idaho, fall 2024. So there's a lot of really cool stuff in the works that requires a lot of organizing from me. That's why I'm working part-time while Anne is supporting me. Anne's paying more of the bills now than I am. And that's a very temporary thing. It's only going to happen for like 3 months. She's just trying to help me get ahead in this span of time so that I can hopefully get enough people subscribing so that I'm able to, then become like a co-equal breadwinner or whatever. So it's like, I supported her in Mexico. Now she's helping me out just a little bit. So I pay 40% of the bills here for rent and everything else. And that it's just not sustainable. It can't go on long term, but she's giving me like this one little 3-month window to kind of make Theory Underground, get me to where I don't even have to work full time at Amazon or anywhere else for that matter, which is amazing. And working part-time at Amazon is so much better than working full-time. Fuck. I cannot express how much of a difference it really is. I'll try though, because I am writing a book about it. It's called Work at Amazon. And it's basically comparing my experiences from last year to my experiences this year. And it has a lot of like on the ground observations and reports about how it's going there and what the future of work looks like. Anyway, so I said that I had to live in Mexico for 5 months to pull that off, and it also ate up my remaining savings. But now look at how much that has paid off. I only have to work at Amazon part-time, focusing the rest of my freed up time energy towards TU administrative work, events, courses, publications, research, and writing. Now, I already said all that, but I just kind of wanted to reread it. And now, before we get into the next part here, I'm just going to touch base on the chat again. Thanks for not being like Twitch audience people. My God, back in the day when I was Twitch streaming, you take like, you read something else and they're all like, hey, you're not looking at chat. Hey, is there some kind of a delay? Because they want instantaneous feedback all the time. It's terrible. But anyway. QA, like quality assurance, or QC, quality checking. Gotcha. That Plato life. Yep. So I said, I am especially grateful for the first app subscription tier signups. Tony, Mandy, Isuru, James, and Terrence. Seriously, you four, I just can't. Like words cannot even. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being the first signups on the actual app. It's so great to have you all there. And also, by the way, I just added the subscription tiers to the website as well. So if you don't want to be on the app, you don't want to fuck with the app, look, there's all kinds of reasons to have the app. Like sometimes you'll find out about things that you won't find out about any other way. But yeah, something you can do is come here you just go to the store, go to the shop at Theory Underground, and you'll be able to look at the different the tiers of involvement, which I'll read about right here. Let's see if I can read about it. The goal of changing to a subscription model is that I can bring in a reliable monthly salary that eventually replaces the Amazon part-time gig. This is the only sure way to free up my time energy for real. Once that happens, I won't have to spend so much time recovering from the fucked up sleep schedule this job has forced on me. Waking up at 3 a.m. is not my favorite thing, mainly because it means I need a nap at noon, and that throws the day off. I'm not even going to say somewhat. It just throws the day off. Nothing like needing a nap in the middle of the day. It's shit. Like if you're in a really hot area, like, and you work outside, well, then that's just going to be normal. But, you know, I'm trying to do stuff that requires long blocks of time. Like you cannot do anything that I do without like these big blocks of time. It's just not possible. Once I reach that point, once I reach that point of being freed up, the focus will be on freeing Mikey from wage labor by making him a salaried instructor and full-time researcher. That's been the plan for a long time, by the way. Like that's been the plan for years before Theory Underground was even a thing. Like that's been one of the major plans in development. That's why I started saying free Mikey like 3 or 4 years ago. Before I get into the gifts that I'm giving you all, let's look at these tiers for a moment. So the subscription tiers, if you actually go to the website, the subscription tiers look like this. Here, I'll move it over so you can see it. Let's see. There you go. So it defaults to tier 3, but if you sit here and you can change to tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. You know how much work this was to make it so that it's so clean and you can just look at everything? Oh, look at. So right here, Theory subscription tiers. Look at, I think Anne called this a sexy chart. Yeah, because it makes it very obvious like what you get at the different levels. So right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, chances are you are in tier 0, which is free. So welcome to tier 0. You've probably been here for a while. Subscribe, like, ring the bell, blah, blah, blah. It's all free on this end. That includes the podcast itself, which is both the Theory Underground podcast and the Theory Underground audiobooks podcast. For now, that's the current setup. There will be probably some other podcast setup eventually, but you know, it's where it's at for now. It includes a blog, it includes public forums, and some weekly Theory Underground hub groups. That includes the multilingualism sessions, Spanish, French, and German. Anyway, so at tier 1, though, this is the new deal. At tier 1, you get one of the 2 ongoing seminars plus 1 past course per month. So every month, you just message me and say, hey, I want access to this course now. I want access to this course now. And every month, you get access to a new course at the $30 level, which is tier 1. And these ongoing courses, one is Critical Media Theory Research Cohort at Theory Underground. That one has been going on for 5 months. The 6th lecture is coming up soon. Nance thinks it's probably the coolest thing going on at Theory Underground, or at least he's most excited about it. I guess that's outdated information. A lot has happened since then, but it's still just like one of our favorites. It's such a good thing that we're going to be doing it as a normal thing. So it happens on the 2nd Sunday of every month. The other one is beginning next month, and that is Critical Doxology and Time Energy Seminar. It happens on the 4th Sunday of every month. And that one is basically an imminent critique of self-help. It is also going to help you think about how you structure your life. And it's going to, really, like, time energy changes how you think about things. That's what it has done for all of my main fellow travelers. And if you haven't read the book yet, you probably get it. I recommend it, obviously. But if you haven't gotten the book yet, one of the presents coming your way soon will include some readings from this work. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, well, it's not going to just be on like this imminent critique of self-help. That's the critical doxology thing. No, it's also going to be a deep dive into the history of philosophy and theory that comes at it from the standpoint of time energy. So it will be looking for themes through all these thinkers related to leisure, scholae, otium, but also other ideas of freedom, metaphysics of time, versus existential time, as well as critique of political economy and the exploitation of labor power. That's all going to be a part of this monthly seminar. So lots to look forward to there. You get to choose between one of those 2 things at tier 1. At tier 2, you get both seminars. So yeah, critical media theory plus critical doxology and time energy, as well as access to all past courses. Boom, you just get it. Just done. As long as you're subscribing at that tier, you get access to all past courses. Plus, you get office hours for all past courses. So on a weekly basis, except for this week because of the holiday, you're able to come to Theory Underground office hours. And if you are reading through texts related to courses at Theory Underground and you come with questions or reflections or whatever for any of the courses that you're working through, you might have missed the live cohort and you might be reading it on your own. You might be binging it on your own, but you can come to office hours and talk about it with me always, except this week. So then tier 3. Oh, tier 2 is $75. Tier 3 is $150. It's all ongoing courses. So like, it's not just past courses. Like, yeah, it's all past courses and it's all ongoing courses, plus the office hours and forums for all of those, as well as deep dive sessions, including the weekly Capital Mondays event, which is 6 to 12 hours every Monday. That I do that with Nance. He's a tier 4 subscriber. And so that's all part of what we're doing at tier 4. But at tier 3, you get access to those things. So you get to be in the live audience. And then if you're super proactively taking notes, or if you're just listening while playing video games or working, multitasking at your job, this will be amazing because we're going to read through all of Das Kapital, all of the main expansion packs on Das Kapital, including Rosa Luxemburg, Rupert Hilferding, Bauer. We're going to get into that Monopoly Capitalism book. We're going to get into a bunch of other works, including like Pistone and Grossman, as well as fundamental critiques, world historical famous critiques of the Capital Project. And so that would include Austrian economists and Keynesian economists and all kinds of stuff like that. And so this is just like a every Monday thing. And it's just, as long as you're riding with us, it's going to be part of your life. Yes, we're really into existentialism. Yes, we're really into post-structuralism. Yes, we're really into post-Marxism. Yes, we're really into like this whole post-left reader. Yes, we're really into classical philosophy. Yes, we're really into reading Lacan and Nick Land and all this other kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, we're reading Capital because we want to understand capital in the 21st century. Okay? Something about Nick Land is I don't think he really understands capital in the 21st century. He's got a really unique theory of what capital is doing in the 21st century, but I think he's just fundamentally wrong. He's conflating categories and he's doing totalization in a way that is sloppy, heavy-handed, and it's good for us. It brings clarity to the situation, but it's not the real. It's not what we're doing. We're doing something way cooler. And if you are around for these, then you'll get the idea. I will be releasing the first 3 sessions of Capital Mondays over the next few weeks, where we read Michael Heinrich's An Introduction to the 3 volumes of Karl Marx's Capital by Michael Heinrich. This is a absolutely essential text. Came out in 2011, I think. Maybe it was 2008. I'm not really sure. But yeah, we'll be reading that and Capital and all these expansions and critiques. So tier 3 is how you get live access to that. And tier 4 is how you do stuff like that with me. You do one-on-one consultations. You get constructive criticism. It's where you get to do a lot of these writers' workshops and exegetical deep dives. And you get access to fucking everything. And you're treated like a stakeholder. And I should have said that, but yeah, you're treated like a stakeholder. There'll be like, quarterly, sort of stakeholder meetings where it's like, you're not a real stakeholder, but I'm going to treat you like one, which means that you do get like a disproportionate say on things. And some people are like, oh, that's messed up because that means that rich people get way more influence over Theory Underground. Okay, you're not completely wrong, but I'm sorry, rich people don't give a shit about this. This is not coming from rich people. This is coming from people who are obsessives, whose death drive is hooked into this. And for whatever reason, they know that they are here at a definitive point in history and they want to play a role. Okay. And the money is just a literal materialization of how much they're actually invested at that level. $30 really might be like everything you can come up with. And I've got people who are like, oh, there's no way I could pay that. And it's like they drink a 6-pack every night, a 6-pack of beer every night. But there's no way they could pay $30 a month for something that requires ongoing effort and research from both myself and Anne, right? I just don't take that very seriously. If you're a working class person, you should be able to afford this. If you can't, though, then there is a scholarship. Just go up here to shop, click scholarship right here, and don't worry. You can still sign up for things and get access to all kinds of courses and events going on at Theory Underground using this scholarship. Just fill out the form right here. It should not be very hard. Doesn't take much information. We're not requiring a bunch of invasive like proofs of this or that or anything like that. It's very simple. Anyway, so setting that aside, I kind of want to get back to that. Sorry for the advertisement, but like this took me a long time to make this over the last week. In fact, it's taken me months of thinking about all of the other ways that it could have been. And I finally narrowed it down to this simple, sexy chart. Oh, really quick, I'm going to read a couple more things from chat. Valerian says, Thanksgiving is a propaganda holiday that should be opposed. Not watching the stream beyond that because I feel like you trivialize those genocides by using such a cavalier method of comparison. Okay, then. So then, bye. Sorry. Yeah, I think there's no better way to trivialize a genocide than by thinking that by changing the name of a holiday, you've done something important, right? Benzer says, good listening to argument before deciding what it was. Yeah, for real, Benzer. Valerian clearly does not care, but it doesn't matter. Chad is in the chat. What's up, Chad? How you doing? Chad says, if you have time, what is the difference between patron sub and TU sub? Just allocation? I'm working on getting everything synced up so that it'll be the same for everybody. Right now, there are technically 2 patron categories. They might be going the way of the dodo. I'm not really sure exactly what to do with them. But if you go to support this effort on the website, the 2 patron categories currently are paying for 1/10 of the website. Right here, you can pay for 1/10 of the costs of the website, which is like $427 basically. I think this needs to be updated, but I think that's basically what it is. That includes the cost of the app. Or become a $50 per month patron. And the patrons like Bert or Marilyn, or they've been using this $50 per month way, or making, one-time or repeated donations through PayPal or Venmo, right? Actually, Bert does send me money through Venmo. That's how Nance has done it, and it's through PayPal. And so it's like there's these different ways of doing it, and but no, so I'm trying to move everything towards these subscription tiers. The $50 per month patron tier used to kind of include additional access like what tier 1 and 2 offer, but I'm phasing it out and replacing it with these. So great question though. That's a good one. Evan Wells says, by the way, did you ever get the link to Nate Hagen's presentation to blah, 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 blah. I think it through a text portal webpage, not sure. I don't know. No. I don't think I ever did get it, by the way. And in fact, I meant to look that up. I'm guessing, Evan, that means that you're the person that we met up with in Portland on tour, because someone we met up with in Portland on tour was talking about Hagen's. So yeah, I've meant to check it out, but have been too busy. Definitely send it to me on On Theory Underground, just message me a link if you want me to check something out. Chad says, oblivion is easier than confrontation. Subs make sense for support and access. The oblivion comment was about those not willing to confront their choices. So do you mean like the person who's unwilling to watch the stream because I was too cavalier about those genocides or whatever? Yeah. It's like that's terrible, but stop trying to make it like, it's like, look, history is horrible. The history of humanity is terrible. The history of the United States is also got its skeletons. You just go read a people's history. There's lots of those people's histories at this point. Just go read them if you want to know about how terrible things are. There's also lots of good stuff. And, you know, what people like to do is paint with a broad brush. America good, America bad. In reality, this is such a simplification. There's millions, hundreds of millions of people involved over a long period of time. And I don't know. What I stand in defense of is not anything that American settlers did in the past. It's standing in defense of the idea of having holidays, the idea of showing up for people in your family, the idea of being there for people as you enter a dark time in the year. And for my family, it was always about like the natives and the pilgrims who worked together, which did happen. It wasn't always this one directional, exploitative, genocidal thing, though it was also often that. But oh yeah, I'm just too cavalier. More about the choosing alcohol example over something to enhance yours and others' life. Oh, you're talking, okay, so when you say oblivion is easier than confrontation, talking about choosing alcohol over something to enhance yours and others' lives. Yeah, man. People really do, like I really do have a lot of people in my life who are like, oh, I love what you're doing at Theory Underground. I just want to be more involved. I just can't because I'm drinking a 6-pack of beer every night. And it's like, well, I hope that your death drive gets hooked into something interesting that makes you interesting and not like pseudo interesting. Because alcohol makes everything interesting in this sort of pseudo way. I've got nothing against it at a certain level if you can drink and also do lots of other things. But at the point that you're like, oh yeah, no, I just can't afford to support like the only working class education and social media and publishing platform on the internet because I just like to drink a lot. I just don't care. I just don't care at that point. But then there's people who are really unemployed right now, and they're really like having to, you know, they're working their asses off trying to find a way to make ends meet. Or there's people in Thailand or Belize or Nicaragua who have shitty currencies thanks to imperialism, let's be honest. But their shitty currencies make it so that $30 US is actually like hundreds of dollars, right? If you're in fucking Mexico, for instance, like $30 US is so much money. It's just not fair. I get it. And that's also part of why I built the scholarship, is for people like you. People who have what gets called cheap currencies. I know it's not just cheap currencies, though, because to call it a cheap currency is a fetish. It obscures what's really going on there, which is imperialism. Anyway, I'll read out the rest of this and close in a minute, but I'll still check in on the chat one last time. All right. So I already said that the goal of changing the subscription model, blah, 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 so I don't have to work this job at 3 a.m. in the morning, blah, blah, blah. All right. So what am I doing to give back to you all? My first gift is Lecture 1 to the Critical Media Theory and Digital Literacy course. These lectures are a part of an ongoing research unit at Theory Underground. We meet at on the second Sunday of every month for a new lecture session, and then later to touch base and reflect on our practical experiments, because it's never just the theory of critical media theory. It's also like practical digital literacy experiments. Like this is the kind of the big month of the year when we're all trying digital cleanses of various types. Like I've not been looking at screens for 2 hours before bed because apparently that fucks up your circadian rhythm, makes it so you don't sleep as well. Turns out sleep's really important. And so, yeah, that's something that Anne and I have recently taken on, is not looking at screens for 2 hours before bed. Oh, well then what do you look at? Turns out like you can look at books. Those are cool. I like them. I like them, and usually they just sit on my bookshelf, and then it's like, okay, no, but I should actually read them. And so one of the nice things about not doing screens 2 hours before bed is that I've been reading a lot, and I try to read books that will make me fall asleep sooner. So I've been reading The Science of Logic and Capital Volume 2, because those are some dry ass difficult books. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, MC ... P breaks down into LP and L ... M prime, no, C prime, then M prime, and then I'm like, I fall asleep. Or I'm like reading Hegel talking about how the notion of the science of logic is sort of like itself, and he's trying to like say like every other science has an object that is outside of itself except for the logic, the science of logic, therefore like gets into all these contradictions. And he's like, bitch, I'm gonna unfold these contradictions for 900 more pages. And I'm like, cool, I'll probably make it through one page before I fall asleep. It knocks me right the fuck out. It's really good. Second gift is lecture 2 from the Intro to Nick Land course on cybernetic capital. Mikey is on fire in this lecture. He is on fucking fire, man. This is such a good lecture. It's so good. So, all the lectures that he did for this short course were fantastic. But, if you receive this email when I push send after this stream is over, then you will have access to the first lecture from the CMT course and the second lecture from the Nick Land course. The first lecture you also have access to, obviously, because that was just made public in the first place. And that's it. I hope you have a good week. Peace. Really quick though, Chad said subs make sense for support and access. Oh yeah, I already read that. More about the choosing. Oh yeah, I read that. Soda Cabbage said, I signed up first tier. Sorry, I'm getting a spam call. What the hell? Hold on. How do I make it not do that? What is going on? There we go.
Call from if someone...
Fuck off. Dude, I get so many spam calls. So many spam calls. But that's the first time that a spam call has ever actually interrupted a stream. So that's something I'll have to figure out. Like what to do about it. I don't know. Anyway, Soda Cabbage says, I signed up first tier, but a little warning that I tend to cancel or pause subscriptions sometimes. Thank you. Did you just do that? For real? Thank you. That's amazing. And, I get it. I pause and cancel sometimes as well. Books are bad here in Florida. Okay. Is that a dunk on Florida just in general because of its anti-intellectual climate? Because that's that shit that Anne is on. She's always on that anti-Florida shit. She was like, we will not go to Florida on this tour. And I was like, but what if we have people in Florida who want us to come there? Because like the tour was ultimately trying to connect with people who have come through the channel or through things I've done with the channel who wanted to get together. And so thankfully nobody in Florida had filled out the form or whatever for the tour. But guess what? We got like 3 people from Florida who filled out the form towards the tail end of tour. So like 2025, baby, we're coming to Florida, whether Ann likes it or not. It's going to be fun. And we'll see Chad probably. Sounds awesome. Taking it down from inside. That's so funny. All right, everybody. This has been fun. I hope you liked my thumbnail, my very creative thumbnail that was apparently offensively cavalier. This one. Yeah, this one. It's very offensive, apparently. See, now, if that offends you, I don't give a shit. Go away. Unsubscribe. Please. Just go away. Get a life and go live it somewhere else. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming on by. Happy holidays. Take care. Peace.